Oh, Travis Wingoodsell. I didn't want to go running today, but knew I had to force myself. I am Mormon. If you do not know, if my title doesn't lead you to that understanding, if you think that if I'm a critic of the church that therefore I am full, pure evil and have no truth in me, just remember, I know you. I know all about you. And that's why I scare you. I use the Book of Mormon. I use the words of Joseph Smith against you. This one is in real time. It's happening right now. It's Joseph Smith's parable of the olive vineyard. Yeah, olive vineyard. Or no. Concerning the redemption of Zion, certain noblemen go into my vineyard, choice, plant 12 olive. Yeah, olive vineyard. Alright. So, you've all heard. Don't tell me you haven't. You've all heard about the Constitution hanging by a thread. This is the source from Joseph Smith, 19 July 1840. It was not put into Brigham Young's Doctrine and Covenants, neither after Joseph Smith died nor the year before Brigham died. He did not want this in his Doctrine and Covenants. And so I will read a few paragraphs down. Then the enemy shall come as a thief in the night, and scatter the servants abroad. When the seed of these 12 olive trees are scattered abroad, they will wake up the nations of the whole earth. Even this nation will be on the verge of crumbling to pieces and tumbling to the ground. And when the Constitution is on the brink of ruin, this people will be the staff upon which the nation shall lean, and they shall bear away the Constitution away from the very verge of destruction. Oops. This is why I'm warning you. It's not happening. At least the ending. We are entering into a tragedy where the Book of Mormon warns us, if you do not hearken to the prophecies, America will be laid desolate. When the enemy comes, and the enemy's here, they are the GOP Trump loyalists. That's what it is. That's the consequences. They have a bloodlust. They were calling out Nancy Pelosi's and Pence's names to murder them. Pence was going to be hanged. Yeah, it's hanged. Because it's a weird thing. It should be hung. And then Nancy Pelosi, they were going to kidnap her, zip tie her, and murder her, just like the Michigan governor. And so, yeah, it's on. Now let's go to the parable. Those of you who are Mormon, you're like, what the hell? I didn't realize this was going to happen. The president of the church didn't tell me this. This is why the prophets have been silent. And now I will show unto you a parable, that you may know my will concerning the redemption of Zion. What is the purpose of Zion? To have a place of safety, a land of peace, a city of refuge. It will be the only place not at war. And so it is necessary to have already been built and occupied, because this day is now upon us. when wars will break out all over this nation. 3 Nephi 1:9, the day has been designated. The FBI came out yesterday and informed us of that date that they set this weekend. That's why it's crunch time. And so, the nobleman, now you can say, oh, this is Jesus Christ. But was it Jesus Christ who reigned for a millennium among the Nephites? No, he gave all authority to Nephi, son of Nephi. Remember when Joseph Smith is said to be a son of a father with the same name? Not a coincidence. And they set watchmen round about the vineyard, built a tower, and a watchman upon the tower. And as I told you in yesterday's video, I was a watchman upon the tower. That is all understood in Mormonism as the church office building. 24th floor, when I was a watchman. That's why you do not know me. For you to hate me as a betrayer of Mormonism, you do not understand. And so the servants began. Joseph Smith is that servant in the beginning. He began to try to build it up. But then he was assassinated, wasn't he? And so even though this is making us assume that the initial servants are the ones currently, it's not. And so understand it in that context of history. The ones who began in 47, what need hath my Lord of this tower? Even though it was built in the 1900s, was it in the 70s, was it? Or was it the 60s? Anyway. Please understand you can't take this literally. That you have to have specific servants, specific towers, specific... Well, we do have the tower, but it changed after Joseph Smith. And the hedges. These are all symbolisms. That's first and foremost. And as it happens, then you're able to go, oh, okay, well, this was that, and that is this, and this is that. And they say, might not this money be given to the exchangers? We learn from the Book of Mormon about the great and abominable church. And it shall fall. The great and abominable church was filthy rich. Money given to the exchangers. They invested it. The churches of the devil. The symbol and sign of the devil is the inverted pentagram. We know this. The great and abominable church practiced polygamy. We know this. It is a sin. It is condemned 4 times in the Book of Mormon. It's frustrating to hear critics, as Mormons are silent on it, but critics claim Joseph Smith was a practicing polygamist, when the evidence says, no, it was Brigham Young. After Joseph died, he began to collect women to take with him to Salt Lake. And then once he got to Salt Lake, he made it publicly official. And so, yes, if you're unfamiliar with the inverted pentagram at Temple Square, And it's a little tough to see it now because it's, closed down. And so the servants are slothful and are not hearkening to the commandments of their Lord. They're not following the voice of the Lord. They claim to by the office they hold, but they're not hearing him. Hashtag hearing him. They're not doing it. They're following after the wisdom of the world, giving money to the exchangers, neglecting the poor. This is where all the scriptures, all the prophecies, as I am expounding all scriptures into this one parable. And so how do you know if the prophet is hearkening unto the Lord or not? Well, let's do a little Elijah and the priests of Baal competition. I'll be Elijah. The servants of the Lord, Temple Square, will be the priests of Baal. When the signs of the biblical prophecies occurred, did Monson or any of the prophets notify the members of the church? Nope, not a single one. Not a single peep, not a single noise, not a single comparison. There was, in that October conference, a member of the 70 who said that it was cool and likened it unto spiritual darkness. That was it. Did not call it a sign in the last days. Nor any of the other signs of biblical prophecy. Okay. Now that we know that they didn't hearken unto the Lord and did not follow Amos 3:7, surely the Lord God will do nothing save he shall revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets. It's mistranslated. I'm not going to go over it with you right now. But all Mormons understand it. The prophets must warn before destruction strikes. Not a general warning. Remember, the enemy is specific. They name names. Nelson needs to name names. Monson needed to name names. He needed to be specific. This is the sign from this passage in the scriptures. He didn't do it. We'll give him a little break. He died. Under the signs of which he was supposed to speak out about and warn. But Nelson didn't either. None of the prophets did. Did I? Well, I know Amazon is sort of censoring me. I can't even type in my own name to find myself. It's just unbelievable. Scroll for 3 pages and nothing of mine. Unbelievable. But yes, book after book after book after book after I learned of the total solar eclipse on November 4th, 2016. I knew what it meant. I knew how it compared to the scriptures. I warned. All right, next. Trump. Again, did any of the prophets call out Trump by name and denounce him for his bigotry, sexism, racism, and other hatreds? Nope. Not specifically by name. It's very important. They called out the names of Nancy Pelosi and Pence. They did it. Church did not do it in denouncing Trump. I did. I'm the first one who gave him the asterisk title. And when his seal was altered at that college, I then added that seal to the apostrophe title. It was me back on my website before the church shut me down. So, okay. 2 for hearing the Lord for me. 0 for hearing the Lord for the church. Coronavirus. Nelson had told us that he had found out about the coronavirus in January. Knew how serious it was, knew how deadly it was. Did he hearken unto the Lord as Moses hearkened unto the Lord when the virus swept through Egypt and told the house of Israel, stay home, do not leave. Churches closed, temples are closed, missions are closed. Briefly, wasn't it? But then on May 1st, Governor Herbert started opening things up early. That just happens to be the anniversary of the Illuminati, which is the enemy that we are now encountering. They tend to change names as they get exposed and lose battles, such as the Civil War, as they were Confederates during that. Now they are known as GOP Trump loyalists. They keep changing their name. Steve Bannon, went to Europe, changed the name to populists. So no, Nelson didn't even lift a finger to help us. The Relief Society eventually donated, with the slave labor, 5 million masks. Too late. Nelson did nothing and even opened up rather than hearkening unto the example in scriptures to keep us closed, to keep us taken care of. I did the video where they knew they were not prepared and had no intention of being prepared. They wanted to know the status of Mormonism around the world, specifically of America, as to who was prepared and who wasn't. They knew this, did nothing to help us. They left us to ourselves. And now they've helped to spread and escalate the virus. Another 0 for hearkening to the Lord for Nelson. Now me, have I been warning you about the virus and the need to stay home, to stay safe, not to go around without masks, not even to go around if necessary, even though I understand that Herbert and Nelson are extorting you to go out and mingle and expose yourself, keeping businesses open, thus forcing employees to work, requiring wages so that you can pay for bills. All threats to your life. But me? Now, I'm not in a position of power, so I'm not the one extorting you, but I gave the warning. Warning. From the beginning, I've been keeping track of the stats day by day, keeping a record of them, knowing the percentages, watching it grow, warning you for holiday seasons, and then time and time again, no one listens. If you do not hearken to the Spirit of truth, to hear Him, and if you believe that you hear Him through the chosen vessel of the Lord, through His prophets, whom they're already 0 for 3, where do you turn for truth? I'm 3 for 3. And now, the war. Because here it is. Who's been warning you of this enemy coming by night? To Utah. Not Nelson, not any of the prophets. Because we're about to get to it. We're going to find out what they're going to be doing. And so there's 0 for 4. Long after 3 strikes. I'm 4 for 4. As I'm doing yet another video. Verse 51. And the enemy came by night and broke down the hedge, and the servants of the nobleman arose. That's the prophets of the church right now, because this is real time. We know the date of when the enemy is coming by night to break down the hedge. And it's now, which means Nelson and all the current prophets are the servants of the nobleman. They arose and were affrighted, and fled. Well, thank God Herbert had secretly arrested, well, it wasn't a secret that he arrested him, but have you heard about him? The airport director? Remember him? Where is he? What happened to him? Shouldn't he be going through the court process? How do you plead? Not guilty. Okay, a hearing date will be set for here. If you don't plead guilty before then, we'll then have a hearing and then go through a trial if necessary, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. All last year and into this year. He's gone. He disappeared. They have indefinitely detained him. And he's not a terrorist. He supposedly had all this downloaded child porn. The one method the enemy loves to use to destroy those who would oppose them, as the airport director was doing to Herbert. He did not want to open the Salt Lake airport. He was concerned for your lives and your safety during this virus. Herbert demanded it be opened to bring back tourism, to spread and escalate the virus, and to allow the church leaders to go around the world again and flee if necessary because of a certain lawsuit. And the enemy destroyed their works and broke down the olive trees. Utah is to be laid waste. That is the warning from the FBI for this weekend until the 20th. They will never allow Biden to become president. They're not going to wait until the inauguration day. No, because once he's sworn in, it's official. They have to stop it. They have to prevent it from happening. They will not allow it. Bullies always push and push and push to force a fight. That's why they're bullies. They aren't doing this to tease. Oh, I'm just kidding. No, they want a fight. And they pick on you. And they bully you. And they steal from you. And they rough you up, wanting you to fight them. That's what bullies are. That's what this group is. That's what Trump is. That's what he has been doing this whole time. The Muslim ban, the children at the southern border being separated and locked in cages from their parents, babies, the DACA, Black Lives Matter, transgender in the military, Puerto Rico, throwing in the paper towels, Trump was purposely bullying everyone in America, but none of them could rise up to stop him. The House impeached him, and the Senate acquitted him. And so now, he's even going after his own, the Republican Party, purposely tanking the election. And all he's doing is saying, oh, it was rigged. Because he's giving an excuse to all the white supremacist bullies to start the fight. That's what they've been waiting for. That's what they've been eager and foaming at the mouth for. It's on. It's now. They will not stop. It's here. It's now. And then what's interesting is that those who are not already wanting the bloodlust, those who have become a part of this group through their brainwashing, bringing them into the group. And it's not initiations, it's when you join. Recruitment. Through QAnon, through Fox News, through AON, Max News, whatever it's called. They all brainwashed people to join. Their cause is not based in reality. And so we have a civil war where the one enemy side is not living in reality. They're living in complete fantasy land. And they can't be woken up because they want blood. And so the enemy is coming to break down the hedge, to destroy the works. These are completed works. By their works ye shall know them, fruits. That's the completion of a seed. And break down the olive trees. That's Utah. The servants are headquartered in Utah. They're gonna flee as Utah is destroyed. And it begins Saturday. When we had the guy from Texas that was suing to overturn the election, and our Attorney General Sean Reyes joined in that lawsuit. I did the map of the Civil War and did some videos discussing potential scenarios for what was going to happen. Well, now we know. And the manner in which it's going to take place is each state with their white supremacists are on their own in their state to take over their state. That's the first wave. We know their strategy now. And the sad thing is that the police in the various states, as well as in the Capitol, there are those among them who support it, the takeover of America. The two officers who were posing for pictures with the insurrectionists have been suspended. In Utah, ABC News caught video footage behind the woman reporting of the police officers knocking down an elderly man. And then the other one in Utah of the old man getting knocked to the ground and splitting his head open as blood was gushing out as the cops just walked by. The cops are on the side of the enemy. And so what do you think is going to happen with the Capitol? We don't have Herbert to call out the protesters for Black Lives Matter as domestic terrorists. Now we have Cox. So we're going to find out which states are going to be more effective than the other states. And so the sad part is that nobody knows what's going to happen after. All Mormons assume, oh, the president of the church will lead us, but until Jesus comes, and then Jesus will take over. He'll come flying out of space and smite the wicked, instantly destroying everybody. And Mormons are not wicked, and therefore all is well in Zion, and we'll have Jesus. Living in fantasy land. You are not living in reality. Joseph Smith in this parable makes it very clear. And the Lord of the vineyard said unto one of his servants, Go and gather together the residue of my servants. The initial servants have fled. So the servants and the servant, one of his servants, are not the leaders of the church. One of his servants is the one who gathers. Who had the key of gathering? Moses. Section 110 of the Doctrine and Covenants. Joseph Smith in section 103, verse 16, says, A man like Moses from among my people, Mormon, one of his servants, a Mormon, is to lead the Exodus out of Utah after this weekend when it's destroyed. Now it's possible, as we learned from 9/11, that there were other flights where guys were assigned to those planes to cause damage, and they chickened out. Wouldn't that be nice if Mormons can be saved from the fulfillment of Joseph Smith's parable prophecy? All Mormons can breathe a sigh of relief and go back to committing their crimes and wickedness. So that the leaders of the church don't have to flee. We will find out in real time. But if you believe in Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon, then you can't believe that Utah will be spared. Out of the 8,000 that stormed the Capitol, only about 150 have been arrested. That still leaves about 8,000 who went unpunished, who have yet to come back beginning this weekend. And they've got weapons. They have strategies. They tried to distract by putting pipe bombs over at the RNC and the DNC. If you saw the videos, they were very brutal. One guy beat a cop who is still yet unknown with the American flag. Two of them died, murdered. This is their bloodlust. They want to return to a monarchy. They are the kingmen of the Book of Mormon. And notice Captain Moroni is a mortal man. So again, who are you following? Who are you hearing? Because this isn't the time to have feelings one way or the other. Oh, I don't feel the Holy Ghost when I listen to you, Travis, but I feel the Holy Ghost when I listen to the prophets and apostles. Well, yeah, but what are the consequences? You get infected, you die. That's the consequences of hearkening to the prophets and apostles, regardless of how you feel about them. It's who you obey and the consequences that determine who is right and who is wrong, who is true and who is false. Because it's now too late. They've already trampled the Constitution, according to CBS's reporting. Nobody else is confirming that, but CBS directly said it, along with the attacks on other capitals after that incident. So, he even says bloodthirsty in that 19 July 1840 talk. There are those now before me. And he's talking to Mormons, who will more furiously pursue me and more diligently seek to take my life and be more bloodthirsty upon my track than ever were the Missouri mobbers. You say among yourselves, as did them of old time, is it I, and is it I? Where does that come from? Yeah, the Last Supper. This is the parable of the 10 virgins, guys. If you do not hearken to the true Spirit, the Spirit of truth, through Him who speaks the truth, if you continue to listen to the lies, continue to put yourself at risk for obtaining the virus and dying from it, as you see your loved ones dying from it around you, you know you cannot follow them. You cannot trust them. The prophets have lied and deceived and betrayed us. They are from this bloodthirsty group that assassinated Joseph Smith. They are the ones who hoisted and carved in stone and in bronze on State Street the symbol of the Illuminati, of whom the assassins who murdered Joseph Smith came from. The ones who planned this attack right now in real time, though they call themselves by a different name. So if you continue to disbelieve me, it's on you.